Army. I'm a drywall contractor in Saskatoon, and I just want to tell you about my experience with the Festool Planex drywall sander. To start with, if you would have told me a few years ago that you could finish sand drywall with a power sander, I would have told you you're wrong. I tried a quarter cable. I'd used one, my old boss, to remove texture, to retexture a ceiling, and it's like I didn't even fathom the idea that you could finish sand drywall with the thing. Then after talking to another finisher friend, he had good experiences with it. That's all he used to sand drywall. So I ended up biting the bullet. I hate sanding. I mean, everybody does. If anything to make it a little easier, make the day a little shorter and a little easier, I would go for it. So I invested in a quarter cable, and it took me a while to get the hang of that. But after about 6 months or a few jobs, I got the hang of it. After I figured out what paper to use, how to run it, and I got to where I could get a pretty good finish. The only problem with quarter cable, well, there's several problems actually. The head didn't articulate much, and it was quite long. So if I was doing ceilings over 8 feet, like 8 feet I could do, wasn't too bad. Over 8 feet, I'm doing a 9-foot ceiling. I'm holding the sander up like this all day long, and that was really hard. I mean, your shoulders are burning trying to sand a ceiling, and so, you know, I just dealt with it, and then I found out about this guy. But you know, $2,000. Well, geez, that's pretty pricey. So, yeah, and I had just spent, you know, $1,000 on my quarter cable setup. So a year before, I guess. So I waited a while, and then came across. I got asked to do a couple of popcorn texture jobs. So there was my excuse to buy a Planex. I bought the Planex to do these 2 jobs because I knew the quarter cable. I knew if you're trying to take down painted popcorn ceilings, that's what killed them. It killed. Quarter cable has a drive cable that runs from the top, kind of in here down to the motors down here on a quarter cable, whereas the Planex is direct drive, the motors up here. So so I bit the bullet, bought a Planex. I got the harness and everything, and I took down one popcorn ceiling. You can see it in another video of mine. You know, it took me a few hours to take down about 700 square feet of ceiling and get it ready for any, you know, new modern texture. Didn't have to reboard the thing, and then I did another one similar. It was a water damaged popcorn ceiling. Took it down and redid it, and actually built quite a nice ceiling on top of it. So there, it was paid for in the first 2 jobs. After that, I was just making money, and you know, once I got it figured out how to run it, I was able to get really high-end finish results, like easily as good as when I'm sanding with a pole sander. But now it's a lot less effort, a lot faster. I could probably sand out a house in half the time, not including all my angles, but you know, there's half the time I used to take pole sanding. Now I can run around with my Planex, and I can just run over the joints, hit all the screws, hit all the butt joints, no problem. And the finish is just perfect now that I've got the hang of it. It takes a little practice. I wouldn't say you're going to pick this thing up and just run with it and all of a sudden be perfectly finished. I'd practice on a couple garages or something like that first. But you know, being short, that's the other thing. The quarter cable is quite long. This thing I can, well, because it articulates also, I can sand right into real tight spots. I can go inside closets. If for some reason they put a joint in the back of a closet or in the side of a closet that's short, I can still sand it with this thing. I can sand pretty much anything with this thing. Bulkheads, there's just nice control with it. And then for the ceilings, I can just throw on this extension. I haven't got the second extension, but you can sand up an 11.5-foot ceiling, I think, with this thing. I can do about 10 comfortably with one extension. It's fabulous. It's made my life a joy. Like sanding day I used to dread, now I almost look forward to it. It's a lot more pleasant now, a lot less strenuous, and no dust. I mean, I'm not a ghost anymore at the end of the day. I kind of basically look like this. Until I started my sponging, my going around through my angles and cleaning everything up. But there's very little sponging of the joints once you're done with this. I'm running either 240 or 320 on this sander. Then I also got soft interface pad on the soft pad. It's a kit you get. I'd highly recommend it. You can tell it's got the S right there, and it doesn't have a white ring around the edge, so it just makes it a little more forgiving, and it doesn't cut quite as much. I'll still use the regular pad for rough sanding because it cuts it nice and flat, but yeah, it's a brilliant machine. And then the vacuum. I was kind of hoping I could keep my Porter cable because it was okay, and I couldn't imagine a vacuum being worth $800 or whatever it is. But this thing is amazing. You never have to clean it out until you're at the end of the day. You're not knocking out filters. It just goes and goes and goes until you're done, or until it's full. The auto clean feature is quite brilliant. There's no bags to worry about with my Porter cable. The bags are, half the time they just break open inside and then clog up the filter, and I'm stopping and dealing with that and dust everywhere. And real pain in the butt, and it was kind of small, and yeah, it was no fun to have to deal with that. And so I'd be losing suction, and all of a sudden then there's dust flying everywhere. But that's kind of my 2 cents on the Porter cable. I do a lot of restoration and renovation work, so the dust collection is key in some of those jobs. I just finished a job a couple weeks ago, and the contractor was really concerned about dust because the old guy upstairs had respiratory issues, and they lived in the house and I was in the basement. And I said, no problem. I've got this dustless sanding system, and I can contain a good 90% of the dust. It's not going to cloud the dust in there. I get most of it. They were thrilled. I can charge more because of that. So not only if I'm doing it faster, I can charge a little more for the service, just because there's nothing people hate more than dust in their house. Doesn't matter how good of a job you do. If you fill their house with dust and they're cleaning up dust for a month after all off their furniture, they're going to remember that, and they're not going to remember the finish. It's going to be the sour taste in their mouth, and getting a referral might be difficult if you make them make a mess. With this thing, that's pretty much avoided. You do have to take some precautions still, but not like you would bowl sanding, where you're just filling an entire house with, or area with a cloud of dust. I think that pretty much does it, just from my take on it. I hope that helps you out.